Most men don't lose relationships because they are weak. They lose because they don't understand the game they're already playing. Listen carefully. Power does not announce itself. It whispers. It waits. It watches who is paying attention and who is not. And the greatest advantage any individual can possess is not strength, beauty, or status, but understanding. Ignorance has always been the preferred soil where power grows. Those who do not understand influence believe they are acting freely, when in reality they are reacting to forces they never learned to name. In every era, the masses are not ruled by chains but by assumptions. They assume fairness, they assume honesty, they assume emotion is truth. And because of these assumptions, they surrender leverage without ever realizing it. When a man believes that intentions matter more than outcomes, he gives power to those who judge outcomes alone. When he believes emotions must always be expressed, he becomes transparent. And transparency, while praised as virtue, is a strategic weakness. Machiavelli understood this long before modern psychology gave it softer words. He knew that the one who understands human nature does not need to shout or threaten. He simply positions himself where others expose themselves. Ignorance makes people loud. Awareness makes people quiet. And quiet men are rarely understood, which makes them difficult to control. Most people are taught what to feel, not how feelings are used. They are trained to chase validation, approval, reassurance. They are rewarded for compliance and punished for restraint. Over time, this creates a dangerous imbalance. The one who needs emotional certainty loses power to the one who can live without it. The one who must be liked becomes predictable, and predictability is the enemy of dominance. Ignorance also creates moral blind spots. A man who believes all interactions are innocent will never see manipulation until it has already reshaped his behavior. He will call it chemistry. He will call it love. He will call it bad luck. Anything except what it truly is: influence operating without resistance. Power prefers to remain unnamed because once named, it loses its magic. This is why awareness feels threatening. It removes excuses. It strips away comforting stories. It forces a man to confront the uncomfortable truth that many outcomes in his life were not accidents, but results of dynamics he never studied. And society does not reward those who study dynamics. It rewards those who submit to them quietly. Those who understand influence do not argue more. They speak less. They do not explain themselves endlessly. They let others reveal priorities, fears, and expectations. While one side is emotional, the other is observant. While one side is trying to be understood, the other is learning how to be obeyed. Not through force, but through positioning. Ignorance also creates dependency. The man who does not understand emotional leverage becomes dependent on feedback to feel secure. He looks outward for confirmation of worth. And the moment your worth is decided externally, you are no longer sovereign. You are manageable. You are adjustable. You are replaceable. This is the silent architecture of power. It is not cruel. It is not evil. It is simply human nature operating without apology. Those who deny it are ruled by it. Those who acknowledge it gain distance. And distance is where clarity lives. Once a man begins to see patterns instead of moments, he stops reacting and starts anticipating. He no longer confuses intensity with truth. He no longer confuses affection with loyalty. He understands that what feels natural is often conditioned, and what feels uncomfortable is often freedom. Ignorance keeps men chasing answers. Awareness teaches them to withhold access. And withholding access changes the entire balance, because the one who is not desperate to be understood becomes the one others work to understand. And from that moment forward, every interaction shifts. Every silence gains weight. Every word becomes intentional. Every absence becomes loud. And the game that once played him begins to hesitate, unsure, recalculating, sensing that something has changed, but unable to fully identify what it is, because the greatest threat to power, has always been the man who quietly realizes he has been standing inside a system designed to benefit those who see without being seen. Emotion is not chaos. It is not weakness. It is not something that simply happens. Emotion is terrain, and like all terrain, whoever understands it controls movement, advantage, and outcome. Most people believe emotions are personal, spontaneous, and sacred. That belief alone is enough to ensure they lose on this battlefield before they even realize a battle exists. From the moment two people interact, emotion begins shaping behavior. Tone, silence, attention, withdrawal, warmth, uncertainty, all of it sends signals. These signals do not need to be spoken to be obeyed. The human mind responds faster to emotional shifts than to logic, which is why influence rarely announces itself with arguments. It enters quietly through feeling. By the time logic arrives, the decision has already been made. Machiavelli observed that men are moved more by what they feel than by what they understand. That truth has not changed. What has changed is how subtle the methods have become. Control no longer looks like command. It looks like disappointment. It looks like approval given slowly. It looks like affection that must be earned again and again. Those who master emotion never need to raise their voice. They simply alter the atmosphere. The greatest mistake is believing emotional exchanges are equal. They are not. The one who feels more loses leverage. The one who needs clarity, reassurance, or validation becomes exposed. Need creates urgency, and urgency destroys patience. Once patience is gone, mistakes follow naturally. The calm observer does not rush. The calm observer lets the other side reveal their priorities through reactions. Emotion is also memory. People remember how you made them feel long after they forget what you said. That is why consistency is less powerful than unpredictability. Predictable warmth becomes background noise. Controlled distance sharpens attention. When emotional availability fluctuates, the mind tries to restore balance. It seeks resolution. And in that seeking, it gives away power. Many are taught to express everything, to be emotionally transparent, to share fears, doubts, and intentions freely. This is framed as honesty, but honesty without restraint is exposure. When your emotional map is visible, it can be navigated by others. When your triggers are known, they can be activated. When your needs are clear, they can be delayed or denied strategically. The emotionally disciplined individual does not suppress feeling. Suppression is weakness, pretending to be strength. Discipline is different. Discipline is choosing when emotion is revealed and when it is concealed. It is knowing that silence can speak louder than reassurance, and that restraint often communicates confidence more effectively than passion ever could. This is why emotional reactions are so valuable to those who understand power. A reaction confirms influence. Anger, jealousy, pleading, over-explaining. All of these are signals that the other person is already inside your frame. The one who remains composed while others react dictates tempo, and tempo decides outcome. Emotion also governs self-perception. If you can be made to doubt yourself, you will begin negotiating against your own interests. If you can be made to feel guilty for having boundaries, those boundaries will collapse on their own. Control does not require force when compliance feels voluntary. And emotional leverage creates compliance that believes it chose itself. Those who rule emotion understand timing. They know when to withdraw, when to reward, when to wait. They allow uncertainty to do the work that confrontation never could. While others exhaust themselves trying to be understood, they let misunderstanding grow. Confusion weakens resolve. Certainty strengthens it. This battlefield is invisible to those who refuse to see it. They will say emotions should be pure. They will say love should be simple. They will say intention matters more than effect. And while they say these things, they will continue losing ground, wondering why the same patterns repeat, why the same outcomes arrive wearing different faces, why every connection begins with promise and ends with imbalance. Because until emotion is understood as a tool rather than a truth, the game continues uninterrupted, the leverage remains unseen, and the one who controls the emotional climate never has to explain why everyone else keeps adjusting themselves around him. The most dangerous advantage is the one no one can see. Loud power invites resistance, visible strength provokes challenge, but silent advantage moves untouched, unquestioned, and often unopposed. Those who possess it rarely announce it, because the moment advantage is declared, it begins to decay. Influence works best when it appears accidental. Machiavelli warned that those who reveal their strategy lose before the contest begins. Silence, when chosen deliberately, is not absence. It is pressure. It forces others to fill the space with assumptions, projections, and confessions. Most people are uncomfortable with silence because silence removes feedback, and without feedback, the ego panics. It wonders where it stands. It seeks reassurance. It exposes itself. The man who understands this never rushes to clarify his intentions. He allows ambiguity to work on his behalf. While others explain, justify, and soften their positions, he lists NS. And listening is not passive. Listening is extraction. Every word spoken by someone else is information surrendered freely. Every emotional response reveals a hierarchy of needs. The silent advantage is rooted in restraint. Not emotional numbness, not detachment, but selective engagement. When you speak less, your words carry weight. When you react less, reactions gain value. People begin watching you more closely, not because you demand attention, but because your attention feels scarce. Scarcity alters perception. What is scarce feels important. What is abundant feels disposable. Those who do not understand this confuse silence with weakness. They mistake calm for indifference. They mistake patience for passivity. And because they misread it, they miscalculate. They assume control where there is observation. They assume safety where there is strategy. By the time they realize the imbalance, it has already solidified. The silent advantage also protects. The more you reveal about your fears, desires, and expectations, the easier it becomes for others to shape outcomes around them. When your inner world is private, it remains uncontested territory. No one can argue with what they cannot access. No one can manipulate what they cannot predict. This is why emotionally disciplined individuals rarely overshare. They understand that intimacy earned slowly is stronger than intimacy given freely. They do not rush to be known, because being known too quickly strips mystery, and mystery is leverage. Mystery keeps others invested. It keeps them curious. It keeps them uncertain enough to stay engaged. Silence also creates asymmetry. One side is exposed. The other is unreadable. Asymmetry creates imbalance, and imbalance creates influence. The person who knows more about you than you know about them holds the advantage without ever needing to assert it. Control, in its most refined form, does not command. It waits. Many are taught that openness is virtue and that withholding is manipulation. This belief benefits those who take without offering. Transparency sounds noble, but in a world governed by perception, it is often strategic self-sabotage. The silent individual does not lie. He simply does not volunteer. And what is not volunteered cannot be used against him. The silent advantage sharpens judgment. When you are not busy reacting, you see patterns. When you are not defending yourself emotionally, you notice inconsistencies. You begin to understand not just what people say, but why they say it, when they say it. Timing reveals motive more accurately than words ever could. This advantage compounds over time. People begin to project authority onto those who are composed. They assume depth where there is restraint. They attribute strength where there is self-control. And once these assumptions take root, they work independently. Others begin adjusting their behavior without being asked, without being instructed, without realizing why they feel compelled to do so. Those who rely on noise mistake attention for power. Those who rely on silence understand that power is felt, not heard, and while the world chases visibility, approval, and constant validation, the silent advantage remains untouched, observing, measuring, allowing others to overextend themselves, reveal their limits, expose their insecurities, and unknowingly place themselves in positions that can later be influenced, redirected, or simply left behind without explanation or resistance. Because the quietest force in any room is often the one shaping every outcome without ever stepping forward to claim credit. Awakening is never gentle. It does not arrive as comfort or reassurance. It arrives as disturbance, as a quiet realization that something you once believed was natural was actually conditioned. The patterns you accepted as fate were simply systems operating in your absence of awareness. The moment a man begins to see clearly, the spell breaks. And broken spells are dangerous to those who depended on them. For a long time, obedience survives not through force, but through confusion. When people do not understand why they feel what they feel, they search for explanations outside themselves. They accept narratives given to them. They internalize blame. They assume imbalance is their fault. Awareness interrupts this process. It replaces emotional reaction with observation. And observation is the beginning of autonomy. Once awareness enters, manipulation loses its invisibility. What once felt like chemistry begins to feel like timing. What once felt like coincidence begins to feel like pattern. The man who awakens does not become paranoid. He becomes precise. He stops interpreting behavior emotionally and starts interpreting it strategically. And strategy dissolves illusion. This is why awakening is resisted, not because it is harmful, but because it redistributes power. Those who benefited from your confusion benefited from your silence, your doubt, your willingness to overextend emotionally. Awareness does not make you aggressive, it makes you selective. And selectivity feels threatening to anyone accustomed to unrestricted access. With awareness comes responsibility. You can no longer claim ignorance. You can no longer say you did not see it coming. You begin to recognize early signs, subtle shifts, unspoken negotiations happening beneath polite conversation. And because you recognize them, you no longer rush. You no longer plead. You no longer over-explain. You let dynamics reveal themselves fully before you decide where to stand. This is the true danger of awakening. It makes you harder to move. Influence requires predictability. Control requires emotional availability on demand. The awakened man does not provide either. He chooses when to engage and when to step back. He understands that distance clarifies intent better than closeness ever could. Awareness also reframes rejection. What once felt like loss begins to feel like filtration. Not every door closing is an attack. Not every withdrawal is punishment. Sometimes it is simply alignment correcting itself. And when you understand this, you stop chasing what resists you. You stop negotiating for validation. You conserve energy for spaces where balance exists naturally. The awakened man no longer seeks to be chosen, he chooses. That shift alone alters every interaction. People sense it before they can articulate it. It appears as calm, as groundedness, as an absence of desperation. And desperation is what most systems rely on to function smoothly. Awakening also restores boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are standards, and standards expose intentions quickly. Those who respect them stay. Those who benefited from their absence disappear. This separation feels lonely at first, because chaos is loud and clarity is quiet. But clarity is stable. Chaos is exhausting. This is why awakening is irreversible. Once you see how influence operates, you cannot unsee it. You cannot go back to interpreting every emotional shift as personal failure. You cannot return to believing that effort alone guarantees reciprocity. You understand that power is relational, not moral. And this understanding protects you more effectively than naivety ever could. Those who awaken stop asking why something happened and start asking how it was allowed. They stop blaming others and stop blaming themselves. They take ownership of position, leverage, and response. And in doing so, they quietly exit roles they were never meant to play. The greatest threat to any system of influence is not rebellion. It is non-participation. The awakened man does not fight the game. He simply refuses to play it on terms that require his confusion. And once confusion is gone, once awareness settles in, once patterns are recognized and emotional reflexes are replaced with intention, the old methods lose effectiveness, the old leverage dissolves, and those who relied on invisibility begin to feel exposed, unsettled, unsure why their usual tactics no longer land, why their signals are no longer mirrored, why access feels restricted, why reactions are delayed, why silence answers where compliance once lived. Because awakening does not shout its arrival, it quietly rearranges the balance until nothing works the way it used to, and no one can quite explain when the shift happened or how the ground beneath the interaction subtly tilted in favor of the one who finally learned to see. What you have heard is not instruction, and it is not accusation. It is exposure. Exposure of how power actually moves when no one is naming it, how influence breathes through emotion, silence, timing, and awareness, rather than force or noise. This knowledge does not ask you to dominate others, it asks you to stop being dominated by patterns you never chose consciously. Machiavelli never urged men to become cruel, he urged them to become clear. Clarity is what removes fear. Clarity is what dissolves desperation, and desperation is the doorway through which control most easily enters. When you understand how power operates, you no longer confuse attention with affection, intensity with loyalty, or emotion with truth. You stop reacting and start deciding. This understanding will not make life easier. It will make it quieter. Fewer arguments, fewer explanations, fewer emotional negotiations. And in that quiet, you will notice something unsettling at first. People will respond differently to you. Some will lean in, curious. Others will pull away, uncomfortable. Both reactions are information. The purpose of this awareness is not to win every interaction, but to lose fewer parts of yourself in them. To stop giving access where there is no balance. To stop investing where there is no reciprocity. To recognize that power does not belong to those who demand it, but to those who no longer need to. If this video changed the way you see even one interaction, then the illusion has already cracked. And once cracked, it cannot fully seal again. From this point forward, you will notice the pauses, the patterns, the emotional currencies being exchanged beneath polite words. You will feel less urgency to explain yourself and more confidence in letting silence speak. That is when the game changes, not because you announced your strength, but because you stopped offering your weakness so freely.